Welcome back. Um, so I actually have so much that I want to talk about today. So bear with me because I kind of have notes all over the place. Like so many notes and also on my phone. I know, but I've been really busy this week. But I wanted to make sure that everything I thought of, I got to talk about with you because I feel like it's so helpful and so valuable. And if you've been following me on Instagram, you will know that today I plan to talk about manifestation. Sorry, I should have adjusted the camera before. Anyways, I want to talk to you about manifestation and some other things. So let's just get right into it. I'm gonna start by saying Happy New Moon in Cancer. All right. So with Cancer, this is a good time for us to really drop into our body and to see what it's asking for. So what can I do to take care of myself more and to be like nourished? How can I feel more nourished? So some of the shadow sides of Cancer is like a little laziness or procrastination might be happening. And especially if you're one of the people that went out for 4th of July and today is your recovery day, it's a really good time to ask your body what you need: healthier food or more rest. The first half of July is going to be very detoxy and purgy. If you're not feeling it already, I definitely am. And it's also Saturn retrograde and Neptune retrograde. Saturn being the Lord of Karma. And the retrograde's lasting for 5 months, and it's giving us a restructure of our foundations. So, for instance, okay, so Saturn is retrograde in Pisces. So I don't know how much you know about astrology or about your own birth chart, but Saturn's retrograde in Pisces is going to restructure your foundation wherever your Pisces is. So astrology has 12 houses, and each house is for something different. So if you look up your birth chart, you can do a free one. If you don't know anything about it, you can do a free one at I think it's astrocafe.com, and then it'll show you, like, my Pisces is in the 12th house. And the 12th house is like the unseen. So, like, Pisces being in the 12th house can sometimes be too passive and like too surrendered. So I'll just be like, I guess I get that, because sometimes I do like, oh, like, it's in the divine's hands. And then I get, especially with my parenting, because, sometimes I'm too passive, like, that's all I'll say. Sometimes I am too passive, and then I get frustrated. So I can definitely see that. It's also about psychic ability. Pisces is one of the things about Pisces is that it's like, I want to say like the mystic. So it's mystical, but also it can lead to escapism. Too attached to comfortability, which I think that is just like something we all go through. I feel like we all are so attached to comfort. Like, okay, get this. People with social anxiety are so attached to being comfortable inside that they don't want to go talk to people because that's outside of their comfort zone. So what's your relationship like with stepping outside of your comfort zone? So that's my 12th house thing. But I feel like we can work on, anyone can work on that at any time. You don't have to wait for your astrology to affect it to work on yourself. Another thing is intuitive struggles. So because I'm so highly intuitive and sensitive and psychic, I sometimes can see when what somebody's saying to me is not matching how they're feeling underneath, and I think that too frustrates me. But it's also not my place for them to like come out with their truth. Not everybody has to. So that's another thing, like boundary setting. so let's talk about how can we set boundaries in a loving way. I went and did this workshop 2 days ago, and it was about like embodying the most loving, kind, so the practice was like you're a Care Bear and your heart's flowing out love, but then you say no. So you say no from the most loving place. No, I'm not going to enable you. No, but universe, please help this person learn their lesson and give them the best possible outcome that you can, so that they can do it on their own, and that you still like love the person, but you're saying no. Just because you say no doesn't mean you don't love them. Another thing I want to talk about psychic abilities is that I think that a lot of us think of them as like, that's so Raven, like, oh, I got a vision of the future, now I know what's going to happen, or like, there's so many different types of psychic abilities. Like, for instance, seeing potential outcomes. So obviously this universe, multiverse, has an infinite number of possible outcomes depending on how you're acting, what you're embodying, the other person's free will, the other person's choice, and you can tap into that energy and see like what's possible, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that person's going to pick that route and go that way. That's another thing, is like a lot of times you see someone's potential and it's like, dang, this person could be this way, but we don't, and that's a problem that comes with this ability, is that you kind of don't see things for what they are because you can see the potential, and that is like, usually the potential is so beautiful that you're stuck on that, and you're like, so also if you're on the same wave as someone and you guys are both developing your psychic abilities, you can have like share visions. Like, I've had a share vision before, like leaving somebody's house, and then we both like kind of tapped into the energy of the outcome of me getting home, and we saw a share vision, and I was like, whoa, did you see that? You know what happened? And she was like, yeah, and it was sick. So you can tap into that, or the energy of telepathy. You know what someone's thinking without them having to tell you. It's not like you hear it in your head. It's not like that. It's like, but I know what you're thinking. It's like picking up the psychic energy and reading it. Sorry, I need a drink of water. Okay. So, now let's talk about manifestation. Let's get into what we came here to talk about. Okay, so I actually want to go to my phone right now because I want to do this one first. So if you're following me on Instagram, I have been posting a chakra card a week, and this week I pulled the card mindfulness. So I'm going to read this to you. I am aware of my thoughts, and I ask myself, are they uplifting and are they true? I do this because I know that my thoughts significantly affect my mental, emotional, physical health, and physical health. And because I know that my body believes everything that I believe. I am not in control of all situations that come my way, nor am I in control of what others do or say. However, I do have free will as to how I respond. I choose to respond to all situations from an enlightened position rather than just reacting. So now I'm going to read you what I wrote because I feel like this is really helpful. So I started a new practice because we all get fearful and anxious thoughts. We are aware that we are not our thoughts and we are not our emotions, but they do have an effect on our reality. A girl who leads one of my spiritual groups taught me that when the fearful thought arises, just say cancel 3 times. So like you're having an anxious thought, something comes up, oh, cancel, cancel, cancel. And then think and visualize your best case scenario, what you want to see instead of what you're afraid of. So visualize that, and then just throw out a few more positive thoughts. Because when we tap into creation energy and we begin to create from a conscious place, we have to become more aware of what we're creating. And if we fixate on situations that have negative outcomes and our anxieties getting the better of us, it can create things that you don't want. So also we need to work on our relationship to spirit. Do you trust and believe everything is always working out for you? Do you believe miracles are a common occurrence? Our beliefs create our reality, and sometimes we need to do the work to clean out old limiting beliefs and create the beliefs that we wish to see in our lives. I always believe that I will be provided with all that I need, and I see evidence of this regularly. I believe that my relationship to the divine and my trust in spirit protects and holds me, and I feel stable anywhere because I know spirit is always within and around me. Working on connection to spirit, trust in the universe, and know that every single thing is serving a purpose, and even if you can't see it, there is a higher reason. Try tapping into your heart's wisdom and learn your truth. Some of us don't want to know our truth. That's just honest. Like, some people are blinded by emotions. That's just the way it is. Sometimes they can't see that, like, there's a higher purpose for things. And sometimes X has to happen so that this can happen over here. It's just the way it is. And it's just like, you always have to respect people's journeys, because if they're going through that and they're doing whatever and this happens and that happens, you just need to respect that that's something that this person has signed up to go through. That this is part of their experience, and it's for their soul lessons. They're learning. This is bigger than our humans. But anyways, let's talk about fear manifesting. It's not about the anxiety, but what you believe. If you believe that you always have bad luck, then that's going to show up. I believe that I have lucky girl syndrome, and that manifests into my reality all the time. If you believe in scary things or give your power away to things that you don't want, then that's going to come into your reality. So you need to believe what you want to be true in your reality and know that the divine is always working for you. Like, I don't even want to tell you about what I manifested when I was in fear consciousness for a long time. It was just about my perception mostly and what I thought to be real. I had religious programming and I thought hell to be real. So when I had this experience, I had a rude awakening that hell was what I was living. And now I know that the only thing is positivity, and that everything that's negative is man-made or fear, because people are afraid of what they don't know. When man is in survival mode, there's a lot of things that the mind does to keep us protected. Sorry, I had to pause there for a second. When man's in survival, the mind likes to get involved and make everything much more complicated than it is to help you stay protected. But I feel like in these times, we need to know that we're moving beyond the mind now. We're moving into the body. We're moving into flow. And we don't need to be manifesting those fearful things anymore. Also, here's my drawing. I just love it. Anyways. So, let's get into the actual manifestation stuff. So, the good stuff. So, we talked about that. Desires. Okay, let's talk about desires. What it would be nice to have, what you want, what's in your heart, your dreams. Desires are there for a reason, but we also don't want to be attached to them. And also, like, long-term desires that will help you build in your life, not just like instantly gratifying things. So like a good practice is, it would be nice to have blank, because, and then why do you want that? Do you want it to help you build in life? Like, what's your reason? Are you trying to embody a different version of yourself. Like, really dig deep and find out why that is that you want it. Because maybe sometimes you find out that you don't even want it, and maybe it's something that society wanted you to want, so you decided that you wanted it. It's weird. There's some weirdness, I'm going to tell you. Regularly take stock of what you're grateful for now, because what brings on more, just like how fear will manifest more fear, gratitude will manifest more things to be grateful for. Like, I didn't feel good the other day, and that really made me be like, oh my gosh, I really take for granted how good I feel all the time. And now every day I'm really grateful of how I'm feeling, and I let Spirit know that I'm very grateful. You can get annoyed by people and you let them disrupt your peace, and then you hyperfixate on them, and that is something that will cause a kink in your manifestation. So we need to take a deep breath and realize that everyone's just doing the best that they can, the way that they know how to. And some people are still living in survival mode, and it's not their fault. They're on their journey. They're where they're supposed to be. But you don't need to have your defenses up against people. Because when you're having your defenses up, not just against people, but against things in the world, when your defenses are up, you're not open to receiving. So being open to receiving is by far one of the most important things in getting your manifestation, because if you can't receive, then you can't have it. It'll be there, but you can't receive it. So when it comes in, you have to become open to receiving, and then step into your desired timeline. Knowing what's meant for you cannot pass you by. And if it's not meant for you, you're going to have to be okay with that, and you're going to have to let that go. Also, another big one is surrendering to the divine timing. Before I started this channel, and before I started my Instagram account, I was posting on my personal account. It felt like it wasn't being valued. And so, also my private account is not for everybody. I'm a pretty selective person. So that's when my daughter was like, you should start a business. And I was like, I had already gotten my certificates and everything, and I couldn't find a job as a Reiki practitioner. Yes, it's not that easy to find. But I was like, okay. So I assume at this point in my journey, it wasn't meant to be for the Reiki thing, but maybe I can do videos, right? And so I committed my energy and focus to tarot and these videos. And then I'm steadily seeing my numbers go up and up and up. And new people are interacting and getting interested, and it feels really good. But for the first 6 months, nothing happened, and it was really disappointing. And it was like, oh man, I'm putting all this time and energy into something and nothing's happening. But I couldn't get this future vision out of my head of what it's supposed to be like, what my future looks like. And I feel like that's, for me, my potential timelines, that it's narrowed down to that one timeline. That's the one that, because when I felt like I was going to maybe not do it anymore because I was a little disappointed, I did my seeing potential timelines, and then I looked into the timeline of me not going through with this. And it's just I would just always be wondering, and it would be the magic wasn't there, and the part of me that wants to bring spirituality into my life in a grounded way wouldn't be there. But it's really important to not be attached to your desires. So what are you going to do in the meantime that you love? You don't have to be stuck doing something that you hate. Find something to do that you love in the meantime while you're making your dreams come true. And then just keep on taking your action steps. So for me, doing my weekly tarot, doing these videos, and then embody that version of yourself. So for me, it's I am a business owner, and for like whatever you want, if you are someone trying to manifest love, then just act like you already have a partner. Like act like you're already in a relationship and visualize things throughout your day, like how this would go if you were with someone, or things like that. So they say fake it till you make it, or embody it until you become it. Now, if you want to manifest confidence or patience, you just pretend to be that version of yourself who already has these attributes or qualities or whatever you want to call it, until it's what you become. A big, huge part of manifestation is set it and forget it. So like I did a vision board, and I used like magazine cutouts, and I never even looked at it again after I made it. And then 1 year later, I was cleaning out, ready to throw it away, and I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, everything on this vision board manifested. And I realized, like, even the adventure spots that I had put on there were oddly similar to like the places I had gone hiking or the places I had gone on vacation. So I suggest that you take a day to really put into focus what it is that you want to create for this next upcoming year, or you can do your 5-year plan, you can just do a month, it doesn't matter, whatever you want to do, just set aside the time to make. It's just conscious creation is all it is. You're consciously creating what you want. Then you visualize, map it out, visualize it, see yourself being, doing, or having the thing you desire, and then be grateful for having that. So the only thing, like for me, that hadn't manifest, there was one thing that hadn't manifest on that vision board, and it was a relationship, which I always feel like the divine is preparing me for anyway, but I do feel like this relationship is going to be very much a part of my journey. And that's why I've been having to get prepared so much, because I've had to heal patterns. I've had to do sexual healing. I've had to heal patterns of fears of intimacy, attachment styles, fear of being seen, fear of not being seen, control issues, jealousy issues, and all of these things came through different areas of my life, though, so that way that it's kind of cleaned up by the time I do get into this divine counterpart relationship. Now, when you look at your manifestation goals, you must also look at what's blocking you from them. So is it victim mentality? Do you feel like you need someone to come down and save you, or something like that? Because waiting to be saved is also just like a lack of action. But you have to be the one to save yourself. You have to be the one to get up and take the inspired action. Get up, do something about what you want, because it's not just going to plop down into your room. Show the universe that you're ready. Now, this is a big, huge one. Self-worth wound. Do you feel like you're worthy of the thing that you want? I talked about this in an old video about how I didn't feel worthy for a relationship. When I didn't feel worthy for a relationship, I was still trying to manifest a relationship. In the last 2 years, my self-worth has dramatically improved. So, I want to tell you about what I had manifested in love when I was coming from a place of low self-worth. I was also in a place where so a lot of the thing about me not being worthy is like I hadn't had like a car of my own. I had a once a week job, so like I didn't really have that much money of my own. I was studying a lot more. I was very codependent on my parents. So when I was manifesting from this space, I was attracting in people with girlfriends, unfortunately, and I had no respect for myself, and I had no respect and when you don't respect yourself, you don't respect others. So like, for me, I didn't choose myself. I chose to abandon my morals to have a relationship with somebody who was already in a relationship that obviously wasn't going to choose me anyway. And that happened 3 times. And it was ridiculous, and I got so tired of it. Like, why do I keep manifesting this? And that's when I was like, okay, get a job, start doing your own thing, start paying for your own thing, become independent. I started the individuation process. Now we'll see what I manifest in love. I haven't manifested anything new yet, so we'll find out, and then I'll let you guys know. But you see where you need to kind of clear up your shit so that you can manifest what you want in the highest good, in the highest form, because you can manifest karmic situations all day when you're coming from a karmic place. But we want to manifest situations that are for our highest good, that are respecting ourselves and our journeys. Another block is lack mentality. You don't feel like you have the means for what you want. But that just is not believing in spirit. So spirit can bring you miracles any day, any time, any place, but do you believe that that can happen? Also, for the self-worth wound, what can you do to make yourself feel more worthy? There are a number of ways that the divine can bring things to you, but you have to be open and believe in the magic. So now that you've laid all your groundwork, you just have fun and you be in the present moment. And you say, okay, you did your work. You've done your manifestation map, visualization, and you always can step back into your visualization, but the more attached you are to it, you create resistance when you're attached. So you want to come from a more flowy place. Keep living your life and make sure you're living a life that you're happy about already, that you like. And that's when the universe can really work its magic and miracles and take action for you. But if you're keeping your doors closed, and if you're just doing your same thing that you always do, and you're letting fear be stronger than curiosity, that's when you're going to block yourself. Curiosity has got to be stronger and bigger than your fear. You're going to feel the fear. I feel fear when I do these videos every single time, but I still show up and I do them. And moving through that is how you practice courage, how you get courage. The thing that you want, your blessing, is behind that fear. Okay, I think I just have one more note. Okay, so you've set your manifestation map, you're doing your visualization, all of that stuff I talked about. So your inspired action step can be clearing out your limiting beliefs, doing your shadow work, letting go of karmic situations, of codependence, or looking at your internal patterning. When we're looking at internal patterning, we need to be completely honest with ourselves. Like, you can run around yourself all day, but that's not going to help you in your situation. You're just going to stay stuck because you're not being honest with yourself. You know what needs to be removed. And by doing this, decluttering these old beliefs, you're showing the universe that you're ready to bring in something new. You can even declutter your home to say, hey, I'm ready. I'm making room for this manifestation, Universe. Let's talk about money beliefs. Money beliefs can absolutely block your abundance. So, if you feel like there isn't enough to go around, like I said, or if you feel like money's the root of all evil, these are all limiting beliefs. I personally believe that money is a tool that helps me expand on my path, and I'm open to abundance. And I see it not just in my finances, but in things all around me. You should see how much I have of everything I need. And it just flows. I have so many healing tools, so many books. So like anytime I'm like, okay, well, I can rest today because I'm not short of things that I have to do. So I always have what I desire, and I have mentioned before that physical activity was a big issue for me in the past. I was very resistant to this incarnation because of the suffering and the density of the body. And I had to work through and push myself to become active. Also, I think a lot of us on the spiritual journey, like that resistance to the material served because we learned to have a connection to spirit. And spirit's really what showed up for us to be able to walk in our human path, in our human life, which is our spiritual path. That's what we came here to do. And a lot of it, I feel like if I didn't have that connection to spirit, would I still be afraid of walking my path? You know, like spirit is my anchor. But back to the physical activity. I was very resistant. So it was really hard to push through that. And yeah, I didn't want to do it every single day. I didn't want to do it. And I literally felt like I was crying. My soul was freaking crying. I just felt like I had this vision of my soul just like walking through and just like tears streaming. But I did it, and now I live a more active life. And before that, I used substances to help me get myself going. And that was before my awakening, when I was using substances and I had addictions. So when I put those down, it was still molding my thought patterns. I was afraid to be like so fast and productive because I thought people would think I was on drugs. And then I realized how crazy that actually seemed, and also how that was a fear of judgment that was blocking me from being my authentic self and shining as bright as possible. So I shifted to, I am so blessed that I can do this so easily now. And I do live an active life because I have so much Shakti flowing through me now. Because I've done the energy work and I've healed. And, you know, I should be happy about the energy I have now. And for the people who feel like I'm too much or whatever, they aren't meant for me anyway. And the brighter I shine, the easier it's going to be for my people to find me. If you're having any issues finding your blocks, seeing where your shadow is controlling, and, you know, like you just don't really know how to go into limiting beliefs, I am booking clients. Email me at cosmicfractaloflight@gmail.com or follow me on Instagram. Also, I do tarot readings, so you can email me if you'd like a personal reading. I also do general readings every week. And I hope you guys had a really good 4th of July, and I also hope that this month brings in something that you manifest. Let's see what we can do.